You're listening to the Erica M. McAfee podcast, where we share stories of grief and loss due to miscarriage, infant loss, stillbirth, and journeys of trying to conceive and infertility. Welcome to episode 2 of the Erica M. McAfee podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Erica. In today's episode, we have Heather Wilson of Kennedy's Angel Gowns. She shares her story of daughter Kennedy, who was born still at 35 weeks via C-section due to placenta abruption. Kennedy's Angel Gowns is a nonprofit organization founded in 2016 in Kennedy's name that provides small gowns sewn out of donated wedding dresses for families who want to hold funerals for their babies. Kennedy's Angel Gowns use their story to break the silence surrounding miscarriage and stillbirth, a topic often confined to families' homes and not openly discussed. Well, welcome, Heather Wilson, to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on. I just would like for you're so welcome. I would like for you to share, tell us about yourself and a little bit about your story with your daughter, Kennedy.
Okay. So, basically, I started a newly founded nonprofit. The name of it is Kennedy's Angel Gowns. We named it after our daughter. This August actually makes 8 years since she went to heaven, and we started this in honor of her. When I had Kennedy, she was stillborn. I was 36 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. It was completely unexpected. This was my first child with my husband. So this was literally after, 3 baby showers and just planning for my child's future. And I honestly, I just didn't feel movement, and I had that mother's instinct. Something just wasn't right. Mm-hmm. So called the doctor. Well, called my husband. He was at work. He's a firefighter, so he spends nights there sometimes. So called him first and said, I don't feel movement. Something's not right. Mm-hmm. And he said, don't worry. I'm coming home. She'll be fine. I'll give you some orange juice and we'll be fine. So he did, because orange juice always worked with Kennedy, and his voice always, she loved his voice, and she'd always move to his voice. Right. So we tried our orange juice, and we weren't successful with much movement, and so we contacted the doctor, who instructed us to go directly to Centera Lee, which is where we delivered Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And so when we went, of course, they did, they hooked us up to the monitors to see if they could get a heartbeat. And it was crazy, because my husband and my sister were just so hopeful. They were like, I think I hear something. I think I hear it. And I just kind of sat in with a blank stare. Like, I don't hear it. And this just doesn't feel right. Right. So, of course, the room got filled with more and more nurses. Mm-hmm. And they because they were nurses, I assume, they weren't allowed to give us that news until a doctor came in. Oh, okay. And when the doctor did come in, she checked me, and she told us those words that no parent ever wants to hear, and mm-hmm. she let us know there was no heartbeat. So, utter shock, disbelief, right. Every emotion that you could imagine. Right. In minutes, you were just going through every emotion of just, I can't believe this is real. Right. So we went through, then we were given the news of, not only has your baby gone to heaven, but you need to deliver her. Oh, gosh. So that was the next mountain we had to climb, was that we had to deliver her. And it was my first baby, so I had no clue what to expect. Mm-hmm. And I labored for over 24 hours with her. Oh, my goodness. So they induced you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pressure was nice and high. Oh, wow. It was just not a pretty picture. A lot of it's a blur. but
Right.
there are certain things you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I remember was my mom and my husband went to plan the funeral because I got pretty sick
After
afterwards,
you
after the
pregnant.
delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said, "There's just I've searched and high and low." My mom's a shopper. My mom is a shopper.
My mom is
It's
too.
just there's just nothing to fit her. She said, "Heather, I've tried doll clothes. I just everything's swimming on her." And one thing that was important to us is that we laid her to rest the right way with
Right.
appropriate attire, and that she, we just did that for her. It was felt like it was the least we could do, but we just couldn't because nothing fit her.
Right.
I have always had a passion for sewing. I sew from sight. I don't sew from patterns.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And so this is the long story made short. I had to do a lot of grieving before I got to this point where I could open up this nonprofit agency to help others.
Mm-hmm.
Depression, anxiety,
right. Mm-hmm.
every form
mm-hmm.
came out of this. So 7 years later, I took a leap of faith and I said, this is it. So on her birthday last year, the night before, I just took a gown and I sewed a gown.
Wow.
And I put it on the internet and I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make gowns for these babies, these angel babies that fit them.
Mm-hmm.
And the response I got from the internet was it was unreal.
Wow.
I mean, the power of the internet's amazing.
Right. The power of the internet is always amazing.
Yeah. It just felt like not only is this needed, it's honoring my baby.
It is.
And I, one of the things that we talked about a lot, my husband and I, was that I just don't want people to forget her.
Right.
And
mm-hmm.
and now her name is it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People speak it when they call me, and
right.
They say her name, and so her name is there, and that's important to me. That she's never forgotten
mm-hmm.
because she was here. She was loved,
right.
and she's truly missed.
Right. Right. So something that we do share in common is that same instance when I lost my first son, BJ. He was born 36 mm-hmm. weeks, 5 days, and same situation happened. We could not find a proper outfit to bury him in. And I remember distinctively because at that time they had discharged me from the hospital. I went with my mom to Burlington's. And we walked in, and of course, going into a baby section after you lost a baby was probably not the right thing to do.
Not good.
But my mom was like, I know you want to come with me in the store, so come on with me. But I broke down and cried. But we could not mm-hmm. find anything. Like we found a christening outfit, all white christening outfit at Burlington's. Right. But like you said, it swallowed him when we were able to bury him. Yeah. We weren't able to find anything specifically to fit him properly. And then with our loss of our baby girl, she was only 18 weeks, so she was extremely small. So wow. we wouldn't have found anything, even if we even looked for it to bury her in. So
how many pounds was BJ?
BJ was 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Yeah, okay. So he's still very small compared to, very small. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we definitely share that in common, and I definitely understand the need that's out there because people want to be able to properly lay their children to rest, and they want to honor their child with a proper burial, especially if they can. So I definitely stand in need, and I understand why people went crazy and they were like, "Oh my goodness, you're doing this! This is awesome!
You have to do this."
How can we help and contribute to
that,
it? Right.
We just realized a lot of gaps, and a lot of families that came to us, they didn't have a pastor, they didn't have money to pay for a funeral, whatever the case was. At that point, we weren't completely a 501c3.
Okay.
Because we were doing it from our hearts.
Oh, right.
We were just like, we're just going to help people, and the money's just going to fall from the sky. So at that point, we were just helping whenever we could. We were just swiping our cards and just making it happen, and then getting advice from some of our elders, we needed to be a 501c3 so we could fundraise this money.
Right.
And so that's what we started doing. It hasn't even been a year since we've been doing this. It'll be a year in the middle of this month. But so what we've been doing is basically helping to pay for funerals.
Okay.
Helping to find pastors, helping with planning funerals, because I mean, honestly, you just don't know where to turn or what to do.
Right.
And no one does. No family and friends. There's just no words to kind of comfort you.
Right.
And at that point, when you lose a child, you're just kind of existing in the beginning. You're going through the motions.
Right. Right.
So just helping them and being an ear and just, I talk to a lot of young women and just venting and just saying this sucks, you know.
Right.
Is helpful just to know someone who went through it. I don't know about you, but when we went through it, I was the only person I knew. And I felt so very alone. So very alone.
I did too.
I did not know one other person that this had happened to. And
Well,
that's a scary place to be in.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to, you said, it took you, almost 70 years of just grieving and, going through different stages of grief. How was God working on you during that 7-year period? How did your faith play a role in that grief journey?
So her funeral was on a Saturday. On Sunday morning, I woke up and my whole family was in town. I'm originally from Rhode Island.
Okay.
So my whole family was in town, and I just woke everyone up, and I was like, we're going to go to church. And everybody was like looking at me like, what?
Wow.
And I was like, we're going to go to church. That's what we're going to do. And so we packed about two rows of pews, and we went to church as a family. And I didn't know where I stood. I was, of course, questioning,
right,
which I think is totally
normal. Yeah.
I was questioning a lot, like, yep. Like, why me? And one of my friends, I got so upset with her. I can remember at that time, I won't say her name. I won't embarrass her. But one of my friends, I called her and I said, why me? And she said, what? Why not you?
Right.
And at that time, it wasn't what I needed to hear. But later on, I'm not invincible. Why not me? It did make sense. But I just think I wasn't ready for that.
You weren't ready for it, yeah.
I was not ready for that. But it's true that you go through phases of grief and questioning God. I remember my son. I have a son who's 20 now.
Okay.
And so at the time he was around 14, and he, we as a family went to therapy, but we felt it was necessary because he was old enough for him to go by himself, and I went with him into the first session, and the therapist said, what do you think? How are you feeling with everything that's going on? And he said something that was just so strong to me, and it stuck with me. He said, well, my sister was, she was born, and she went right to heaven, which means she was born without any sins. So I know that she went directly to heaven and she's with God.
Oh, man.
And I thought, how profound of a 14-year-old to be at that point.
Right.
I mean, it just, when I kind of looked at the therapist, like, maybe he doesn't need to be here because I'm not even at that point. So,
like, look at God speaking through this 14-year-old.
Think about that.
Right.
Yes. Through this process to help other people. And my pastor at the funeral said some words. Everyone repeated these because, at the funeral, I was obviously very out of it and just kind of in my own zoned out worlds trying to just get through the funeral.
Right.
But one thing that everyone said, he said, was, you don't know what was in store for Kennedy. You don't know what lied ahead for her.
Right.
And you might find out later why. The why is not important. And you may find out the why. The why, he wanted me to heal first so that I could help others heal. And I know it's God because every step of this process has been it's almost like he's carried me through.
Wow.
I know some people who try to work at getting 501c3 paperwork completed, and it takes them years or months. Mine took 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And the office I know is a known office to be backed up. Every time I thought I can't do this, he showed me you can do this, and I'm going to make it bigger and better than you could have ever imagined.
Wow.
And that's what has happened. We had an angel ball this year to raise money, because another thing that we're trying to do is put cuddle cots in every hospital in Hampton Roads. And the
Oh,
cuddle cots are
man.
kind of like,
Right. Cooling devices, yeah.
and I would have loved that because Kennedy, we weren't able to spend as much time with her as
Right.
we would like to, because, you know, the normal thing was happening that does happen. So we're working at that, and so we threw, and everyone doubted me. Everyone doubted me and said,
Wow.
there's no way you're going to pull off a ball in this many months. And that was my strength. And not only was it a successful ball, we raised beyond the amount of money, and we
Wow.
completely sold out the very first year.
Praise God.
So we were able to actually buy. I mean, he's so good.
Man.
Every inch of this has been nothing but him.
Wow.
We were able to buy 2 cuddle cots. So the blessings keep flowing in. People are just so giving. I meet so many women like you and I that have been here. And it's been amazing. It's been a journey. It's not easy. There are days where it's very hard, but I keep pushing forward because I know who has me.
Yes, amen. Oh my gosh, that's a blessing.
For you, the listeners of the Erica and McAfee podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 99, yes, free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Audible has over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Personally, I recommend John Gray's new book, I Am Number 8, or Sarah Jakes Roberts' new book, Don't Settle for Safe. Both are great inspirational books to help keep you going and just to remind you that you are not alone on this journey and that God has not forsaken you. To download your free audiobook, go to www.audibletrial.com/Erica. That is www.audibletrial.com/ERICA for your free audiobook.
So let's talk about and transition into your next pregnancy. Let's talk about your rainbow baby. For those who don't know what a rainbow baby is, it's a baby that's born after the storm of losses. Basically, it's your rainbow after the storm. So let's talk about your journey, after losing Kennedy, and then trying again, getting pregnant with your rainbow baby, and then going through that pregnancy and how you felt during that pregnancy with your rainbow. And your rainbow, her name is Riley?
Riley.
Yes.
Yes. Also, all of our names have 7 letters, even the dog. So Kennedy, Riley, Dimitri, Heather, and Bentley is our dog.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
And it's something about 7. It's something about
7. 7's completion.
7 years of breathing. It is a year.
Oh, my gosh. That's true. Look at you.
telling you.
And I started my blog on my birthday, which is on July 17th, 2017. So it was a number for me too.
Yep, that is a number for you too. Yep. So, after we had Kennedy, we went and got genetic testing because, of course, like my pastor said, you're always trying to find the why. I wanted to find the why. One of my biggest regrets was not getting the autopsy, but that was part of me being grieving and just going through the motions. So we got genetic testing, which of course there was nothing there. And so that was something I wanted to do. Let's make sure everything is okay before we proceed and try this again. But also it was, let's hurry up and do this because I don't know. If I wait, I might talk myself out of it. Right. And I know that I want a family. Right. Originally, we wanted a big family.
Right.
Kennedy passing changed a lot. And the pregnancy was this was scary. It was frightening. It was, and not just for me, for everyone around me. Everyone's nerves were shot. Every time I kind of wasn't feeling movement, that was us going down, 60 miles an hour to the hospital, because I couldn't, my nerves were just terrible. I couldn't relax. I honestly could not enjoy the pregnancy. With Kennedy, I wrote how many times she's kicking me, how many times I can feel her hiccup, what day I went to the doctors, what day I had this, Riley does not have a book like that. Riley's pregnancy was just getting through to the next day.
Right.
And I feel bad about that, but it was what I had to do to get through, because my nerves, I couldn't relax.
Yeah. Did you celebrate milestones? Like I got to this, I got the 20 weeks. I got the 24 weeks. Okay, we have viable. We're viable, We got the 30 weeks. Okay, we're almost there.
Yes. And one thing we did that a lot of people didn't agree with, we told people right away when we got pregnant with Riley, because my take on it was, I need as many people praying for me and this baby and my family right now as possible. So that is something that we didn't wait until till later. That was just something that I felt was necessary. Everybody's different,
right?
But for me, it was like, I just want everybody to pray. We're pregnant again. Just start praying.
Just praying right now, right? Keep praying. Put us on that list until she gets here, right?
And another thing I did also was, Riley was born at 35 weeks, because I couldn't go to that 36 week because my anxiety was too high. And my doctor was amazing with letting me, being patient with me and meeting me where I was.
Oh man, that is a blessing, because not all doctors, they'll make you wait until you get to 37 weeks.
Right. Yes.
And that is a blessing. And I do credit that there are some good OBGYNs out there that will understand your losses prior and your anxiety going forward. So those who are listening, if you're trying again, and if you're not getting that, you're getting that pushback from your doctors, please go and get another opinion. Try to find another doctor that understands your concerns.
Yes, absolutely. You know your body more than anyone else. Listen to your body, and go with what your heart tells you.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome. So then you have Riley and you have your rainbow, and God answered your prayers. You were able to have a baby. Back to Kennedy's angel gown. So you all are raising money for the cuddle cots and funeral costs, and helping other families out in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, or are you helping people all over the country?
So, it started out with Hampton Roads, and then people would find out about us in other places. In fact, just tonight, I got a call from a young lady whose baby, she went to heaven 2 days ago, and she was looking for resources and found us online. She's from Brooklyn, New York. So I'm actually overnighting her a gown tomorrow. The furthest we've sent a gown was Nevada.
Wow.
We've sent a couple to Florida, one to California. So now now we're shipping them wherever the need is, and it's a couple things are that bother me. Is I've learned a lot through this process. I learned that I want to research this more, because the African American community is hit the hardest with this, and I need to know why.
Yes, that's my quest too.
I need to know why it's more males. Yeah, I need to know why it's more males than females that don't make it. So those are the things that have caused me to just really, I'm keeping track of the gowns and keeping track of where they're going, and just all of those things that I never thought that it was this common. That's so scary to me, that this many women have to go through this. This many families have to be touched by this.
Right.
That the amount of babies that are being buried, it's just, it's a silence. It's not talked about, and we're going to break it. You and I,
Yes.
and all the other lost moms, we're going to break the silence because we have to let their legacy live on and help.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So, in honoring Kennedy's memory, what has God revealed to you on this new journey with Kennedy's angel gowns?
Whew. That I guess I am a little bit stronger than I feel. That's one thing that he's revealed. He's revealed a purpose in me that I didn't know I had.
Amen.
I knew I liked to sew. I went to school for fashion. I could not get a job in the fashion industry.
Wow.
Why? Because God was preparing me for this.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is why he gifted me with these skills. And he's just, I mean, just been a lot of revelations through this process, but those are the main ones that I have to do this to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he used my two skills because I work in foster care and adoption, and so naturally I am just a helper.
Right.
But I wanted to go to school when I first went to college. I wanted to go for fashion, and my parents were like, "You'll never get a job. We're not paying for that.
Right.
Find another degree." And so when I graduated, I got a psych degree. When I graduated, I said, "I'm going to go back to fashion school and pay for it myself," which I did. And my parents were right. I did not find a job, but now I'm using both of those skills. I'm still helping, and I'm also, I'm sewing. So I'm using those skills in a different way. So it lined up, and I'm finding out a lot of my whys.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you sew all of the gowns yourself, or do you have a team working around you now?
I have a team. I need more seamstress. I'll say that again. I need more seamstress.
So you all hear that out there? If you're in the Hampton Roads area, she needs some help.
We have 306 gowns that we need to make. And one average size gown makes about 11 to 15 angel gowns. So can you imagine? Times 306.
Wow.
So some of my seamstress, most of my seamstress don't sew in the summer. They're mostly retired.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like them when I grow up. So they can sew when they want to, but it's awesome. They're super helpful. They've become like family, and I appreciate them so much. I have about maybe 7 total.
I gotcha.
My mom and my dad and my sisters, my husband, family members, they help me to rip the gowns apart because it's a whole process. Some of them have just the most meticulous beading, and some are 100% silk. Some are from the 1930s. Some are from World War II. I mean, just the letters alone that I receive when I get the gowns, it's just like opening a book and reading another story.
So you're receiving wedding gowns from like all over. People are sending them from all over the world. Wow.
Yes, all over. We had an article in the Virginia Pilot, and the Associated Press released it internationally, and so we've gotten a lot of feedback as far as gowns and just the need and just a thank you for doing this.
Wow.
I mean, I get ladies of all ages. There were some older ladies that had called me, and back before they had more, I guess, knowledge about lost moms and the process, they didn't allow them to see the babies. So those stories are hard to hear. They never got to see or hold their baby. The baby was just kind of rushed away, and they don't know what happened to their baby.
Right.
So just listening to their stories, it's disheartening as well.
Right. So for those who are interested in donating wedding gowns to Kennedy's Angel Gowns, how would they get in contact with you?
So you can reach me at heather@kennedysangelgowns.org. So there's an S on Kennedy and an S on Gowns. So it's heather@kennedysangelgowns.org. I'm on Facebook. The Facebook page is Kennedy's Angel Gowns. Instagram as well. And that's also Kennedy's Angel Gowns. And we just got onto Twitter.
Oh, wow. Look at
My
you.
phone number, yes. So still trying to work that and figure out that process as far as Twitter works. My phone number is 757-263-8479. You can ship it. Our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 5173. That's in Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23471. So there's lots of ways to contact me. We're actually having an event coming up in October on Pregnancy Loss Awareness Day. That is a 5K. It's at Virginia Wesleyan. That's on October 15th. We're actually starting it. It's on 10/15. It's going to start on
10/15. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that we're looking forward to that, and so we'll have those two major events. But we plan to do, like we did a paint and sip in June. We'll do smaller events to raise money, but the two big ones will be the Angel Gala, which will be at the Virginia Aquarium this year. We already have a date.
Oh, okay.
That'll be, we try to honor Infertility Awareness Week. So Infertility Awareness Week is in April.
Right.
So we have the ball in April, and then the 5K in October.
Okay.
To kind of support both of those causes.
That's awesome. And I know that everyone wants to support, especially if you're in the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, Tidewater area. I'll link all of everything that she just said. All of that will be in the show notes or in the description box, so you all will be able to find out and sign up for the 5K. I know I'm going to register because I definitely want to be there and be there to support this wonderful organization. The last thing that I have for you is just some encouraging words. So often we find our friends, our loved ones, just people who surround us really just they are lost their words for what to say to people who have lost children. So, what's the best way that we can support one another, or that we can tell our family members on how to support us as lost moms, or, women who have had such traumatic losses?
I would say, of course, everybody's different. For me, just being there. We don't have to talk. We don't even have to express words. Just sitting there and being there with me. That was important to me. This may seem odd to friends or family that are trying to support. It's important to say that baby's name.
Yes.
It may sound scary, but it is so good to hear your child's name. And it's a feeling of, you're thinking about my baby. You love my baby like I did. You miss my baby. I like to hear my baby's name. So those are two things that are important. Just being supportive during the time of grief and the process of grief, but also just sending a note to let you know you're thinking about them. It doesn't always have to be the right words. It just has to be that comfort of knowing that someone's there for you.
Right. I agree. Well, thank you, Heather, for being on the podcast. I thank you for sharing your story and learning so much more about Kennedy's Angel Gowns. And like I said before, all of the descriptions, all of where you can find Heather on Facebook and Twitter and her website. And if those of you all who have wedding gowns who want to donate and contribute to Kennedy's Angel Gowns, we'll put all that information in the description box for you all to support her.
Thank you all for listening to today's podcast. I pray that this show was inspirational and a blessing to you. The show notes and links for today's podcast can be found on ericaandmcafee.com/podcast/EP2. Now it's time for you to tell your story. Visit ericaandmcafee.com for more information on how to be a part of the show. You can follow me on social everywhere at Erica M. McAfee. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I would love for you to join the community. Please rate and subscribe to the podcast. Keep the faith, and I'll talk to you soon.